Well, former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra is behind bars tonight after the country's Supreme Court ordered him to serve a one-year prison term. The decision relates to a previous case where he was jailed for corruption but ended up being moved to hospital after spending less than a day in his cell. Manny Tsigas reports.
From Prime Minister to prisoner again. A convoy of vans transport Thaksin Shinawatra to Bangkok's remand prison compound, the latest chapter in a dramatic change of fortune for his family and political legacy. Weeks after being ousted as Prime Minister for violating ethical standards, Thaksin's daughter Paitongtarn Shinawatra spins tragedy into triumph.
Today is another historic day, the first Prime Minister to go to jail. My family and I are worried about my father, but we are proud he's created many histories for the country, including useful policies that benefited the people.
In a social media post, Thaksin was just as defiant. I accept and am ready to go through the judicial process after the court's verdict today. Even though I lose my physical freedom, I still have freedom of thought for the benefit of my country and its people. Thaksin had previously been sentenced to 8 years jail due to conflicts of interest and abuse of power while in office. But just hours after his arrival, he complained of chest pains and was transported to the luxury wing of a police hospital. His plea for a royal pardon saw his sentence cut to just 1 year and was paroled after staying in hospital for 6 months. Thailand's Supreme Court has now ruled Thaksin did not have a severe illness and his hospitalisation could not be counted as time served. He now restarts his 1-year sentence, much to the dismay of his supporters.
I feel uneasy. He's done so much good for the country, but he still has to face punishment.
Are we sad? Yes. But we're also proud to have a courageous former Prime Minister who respects the court's decision. We're here to support him.
Meanwhile, Paitongtarn has vowed to take the family's Pheu Thai party forward in opposition, in the hope of rebuilding a once mighty political dynasty. Manny Tsigas, ABC News.
Thailand's Supreme Court has ruled that former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra must serve 1 year in prison after it found he had not adequately served time for a past conviction. The country has now faced weeks of political chaos, which also saw Thaksin's daughter, Paitongtarn Shinawatra, dismissed as Prime Minister in August. Let's get more on today's ruling with Asia editor Karishma Vyas. Karishma, good to have you with us. Today was quite the day in Bangkok. Can you take us through what happened with the court's ruling?
Well, it was historic, Girish. It's the first time that a former Thai Prime Minister is facing jail time, and that occurred after the Supreme Court decided that he needed to spend 1 year behind bars. Now, this decision relates back to a 2023 case in which he was convicted of abuse of power and conflict of interest charges. He was sentenced and supposed to spend 1 year behind bars then. However, immediately after this verdict, Thaksin complained of chest pains and was taken to a VIP wing of a hospital. He spent 6 months in this hospital before being released on parole. The court today decided that this was not an appropriate or adequate sentence that they had been seeking when they told him that he had to be in jail for 1 year. He was told that they did not believe he was sick at all when he spent time in that hospital, and that his hospital stay was unlawful. So they have decided that he needs to spend 1 year behind bars, starting immediately.
And also, there was a lot of speculation before today's ruling. Karishma, can you tell us more about that?
Yes, last week, Thaksin surprised everybody by taking his private jet and flying to Dubai. Now, this raised a lot of alarm bells in Thailand because previously he had spent 15 years in self-imposed exile in Dubai, and the speculation was that he was in fact evading justice and that he would not return before the verdict today. Tens of thousands of Thais were tracking his plane as it moved from Thailand, seemed to go to Singapore and then turned around and went to Dubai. He said he was there for medical treatment and that he would return. There was suspicion that he may not, but in fact his plane landed back into Bangkok on Monday, and he was there at the Supreme Court this morning to hear the decision.
And how has Thaksin himself reacted to this ruling?
In a statement that his team released after the ruling came down, Thaksin said that he was, quote, he humbly accepts this decision and that he was ready to carry out the court's order. Now, this brings to an end many years of the former Prime Minister butting heads against the judiciary, evading and manoeuvring away from military coups as well as judicial rulings. As I mentioned, he had spent 15 years out of the country after a military-backed coup. But today seems to be the end of the road for all of that manoeuvring. It looks like he will be spending time in jail.
So if this does seem to be the end of the road, what impact will this have on Thailand, both politically and more broadly, considering how influential Thaksin has been for decades?
Thaksin has been incredibly, if not the most influential figure in Thai politics for close to 25 years. If you remember, his star really rose in 2001 when he won landslide elections, followed by another victory in 2006. And his popularity has continued largely amongst lower class Thais and the rural population. His government is credited with introducing health care access to people who couldn't afford it, introducing pro-agricultural policies that were really popular with farmers. So he yielded incredible influence through his voter base. And again, even while he was in exile, political parties that he backed, that he created, candidates that he backed, were elected into the prime ministership again and again, including his sister Yingluck and most recently his daughter Paetongtarn. So the Shinawatra name has been incredibly influential. What happens now is the big question. Will Thaksin continue to exert the kind of influence, the kind of power that he has been able to from jail?
Yeah, it's interesting to see what will happen in the weeks and months to come in Thailand. Asia editor Karishma, Vyas, thank you very much for your analysis.